We are live. Yes, we are. How's everybody doing? We're back. Someone said in the chat room, John Q, he's always on time. You got that right. I always start on time. No delay. Good to see everybody. My goodness. I know it's been a minute since we last got together, but I thought I'd come on and touch base with everyone. Welcome, everybody. How you doing, Amanda? CJ Jones, Watch Out Squad. We've got the house in here. Ebony Sheffield. I did accept you on Instagram, so we're good to go. Good to see everybody. We got Thriller Media in the house, Rhonda Burley in the house, Humble Lady, Royal Jennings, Honeybee. I have Feisty 60 as my moderator for this evening's live. I am expecting several others, but it's good to see everybody. Deborah Hargrove, Brenda Clark, Kenneka Melton, how you doing? K Money, Spoken Words. My goodness, I get up in here 2 minutes and the house is full. All been waiting for me, I know. I've got a number of phone calls and emails asking, when are you going to go live again? When are you going to go live again? We miss you. I said, well, I'm putting together a couple of things. I says, I'll be going live. Fire Mommy 411, Gene Sutton, Quincy Towns, Bonita Reese, Butterfly Johnson, Michelle Majors. Much lovely Michelle Allen. Good to see everybody. My goodness, I hope everybody's had a good weekend. It's been an exciting week, that is for sure. All of the news that's been broadcast over the last several days since Friday concerning some other issues and aspects of society. I thought I'd get on here and join you tonight. Thank you for joining me as always. You know, I don't go live every day or post a video every week and things of that nature. I like to really study up on my content so that this way I can bring you the very best of my studies, what I find, what's current events, and what's coming up. And so that you can definitely depend on me delivering that message to you. Joyful, how you doing? KD, Jose Martinez, Dorothy Bryant, Charlize Filson, how you doing? Thank you, Charlize. Charlize always says, hit that like button, hit that like button. You know, me, I don't hit a like button until I'm done with the video or I'm done listening to the live. You know, because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to like it or not. Did you waste your time? Yes or no? And then you can decide. But I appreciate everyone's support. That's what kept the channel going and the content flowing on my channel. Hell of a chick. How you doing, love? I've watched a couple of your updated videos. Hell of a chick. You're doing a sensational job. Absolutely sensational. I love your content. Keep up the good work, love. Tanya Pittman, Tanisha Nesmith. How you doing? Dina Hill, Shantae Eldenlin. I can say these names. Miss Diva W, much love to you. KD, Howard Chestnut. We got Watch Out Squad in the house, y'all. My brother Watch Out Squad. Hardworking content creator, still pushing it out there, putting it out there. Much love to you, man. Whether they be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I want more of you. I'd love to see more of you. Stick around and make it 10, 15 minutes. Stretch out your content because you're down where the nitty meets the gritty. But that just goes to show you that there are some very, very dedicated content creators working on the case. So, yeah, much love to you, Watch Out Squad. Humble Lady, Lorraine Johnson, Chloe Vera, Mika. That's right. Everybody say hello. Just wanted to get things warmed up by giving everybody some love, and I know you miss me. I miss you guys too. Much much love to everyone for joining me tonight in tonight's live. The last time we got together with one of the content creators, advocate content creators, Ms. Corinne Harris, who happens to be a YouTube content creator, covering a lot of news. In fact, she covered all of Black History Month, did a fantastic job, and she is in the current events section right now. She's covering, obviously, the coronavirus, a lot of the political activity in that ballpark, which I'll touch base on later on in tonight's live. We definitely want to mention a lot of the developments going on there. But tonight, once again, we're back with our investigation, our continuing investigation of the Kenneka Jenkins case, which is definitely pressing on 3 years now. And a lot of content has been put on YouTube and Facebook, as well as Instagram and Snapchat, but more or less content on YouTube. And I've been doing a lot of reviewing and studying and shopping and browsing around. I do that to see what's out there uh, in terms of the case. And I'm coming across a lot of, let's just say, a lot of information. A lot of information from content creators, some brand new, just getting into the case, maybe about several weeks old to a couple of months old, just joining into the case, doing their own private investigations, and putting out content, as well as the veterans of the Kenneka Jenkins case. And you all know who they are because they've been around since day one and still putting out content and still discovering out of the content that they put out little little minute areas that they have covered before, but are fine tuning these areas because they're making new discoveries within the content itself. We could watch Irene's live 1,000 times and still find just nuances of something new, or Ty's live and nuances of something new. Or we could go back over the Rosemont police report narratives and find something new, or go back to the crime scene photos and find something new, and on and on. The video surveillance footage of all places, we could watch back and forth, up and down, as we have for almost 3 years, and find something absolutely new. And so, still digging into that information, it's a lot, obviously. And to try to cover it in a couple of videos or a couple of lives is absolutely impossible because of the way it was given to us. If you were to go to the Rosemont Public Safety website, which I'm sure many of you have, following the case, you'll find that the whole website, under the Freedom of Information Act, in which the case falls under, contains a lot of files, tons and tons of files, whether it be the narratives that you're looking to review, tons of files, tons of narratives, all broken into pieces. Or you're looking at the surveillance footage, absolutely pages and pages and pages of files there, and so on and so on. So this is the way the case has come to us. And you have content creators out there disseminating that information as best as they can. And we're all coming from different perspectives. all of us have a perception as to what that information is. And as you can see, all the way up until now, from its inception, as you can see, all of us have various different ideas as to what that content from the Rosemont Public Safety site consists of and how we present it to our subscribers and to our audience. If you notice, I certainly have, I'm sure you have too. And this is what makes getting the right information uh, important to stay on track. And I've been an advocate of constantly reminding my subscribers and those that will become subscribers. If you're brand new and this is the first time you've come across my live, welcome. You'll find that I'm adamant in the areas of making sure that you double check the content yourself. Don't just take my word for it or any other content's word for it until you check it out yourself. Okay, that is important. Educate yourself is the number one priority in this particular case. Okay, because we want to be as accurate as possible, but we all have different presentation styles and methods. Obviously, some of the content creators out there that you've come across, you'll definitely notice that we all have a different style in delivering our information. Okay, and so it is very important that you double check that information for your own education so that this way you are not misled or misinformed as to what a piece of information is containing this case and pertaining to this case. So I adamantly urge everyone, do your own homework. I've been shouting that out since my early start in the case with Malika the Warrior, where I've joined her on a number of lives we've done together, and we've done some fantastic lives together. Much love to Malika the Warrior. She's still out there. She's producing good content, and she's still out there behind the scenes, um, hammering away at this case, and coming back and presenting it as is to the best of her ability, as to the best of everyone's ability in terms of content, to try to deliver it with facts. Deliver it with facts. And that means you can check it. You can check it. Not just take our words for it, you can check it. So tonight, I wanted to cover a very important area of the case with you in regards to fear and realities. Fear and realities. And when I say fear, I'm not using the word in its emotional content. I'm not using that in that way. What I am using the word fear to describe is an acronym. It is an acronym. And the acronym of fear that I am going to be sharing with you tonight is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. That's the fear I'm going to be talking about tonight. False information appearing real. And so if you've ever heard of that acronym or fear explained in that terminology before, good, because you understand where I'm going to be going with this tonight. If you've never heard of it before, well, good, because you're going to hear about it tonight. Okay? False evidence appearing real has fallen into this case, obviously. And when you come across the false evidence that appears to be real in this case, this is the reason you should double check it. Because this case is big, it's wide, and it is also worldwide. And so anyone getting into this case, investigating this case, is going to obviously come at it from a different perception, a different perspective, different imagination, different ideas in order to present it. That makes sense. Type of one in the chat room if what I just got finished saying makes sense. Everyone comes into this case on different levels, by different degrees. BB, how you doing, love? Barbara Burris, the Dreadhead family. Little Dreadhead family is in the house, y'all. Much love to you, BB. But type of one in the chat room in regards to the acronym I'm using tonight called FEAR, false evidence appearing real. How many of you have come across false evidence appearing real? Let's see how many of you have come across this. False evidence appearing real, because that is the fear in this case. Absolutely, okay. Majority, so I'm not the only one. Good. All right, Thriller Media, Camilla Bellanzano, Rhonda Burley, BB has come across it, Miss Divya has come across it, Watch Out Squad has come across it, Came Money Spoken Word has come across it, Hell of a Chick has come across it, Rhonda Burley, Misha Corbin, Michelle Majors, Howard Chestnut, Mo 20, D. Collins, Alicia Loving Life. Yeah, false evidence appearing real, all in this case. And there is a reason for it. As I said before, there's a reason for it because we're all coming from different perceptions, perspectives, backgrounds, education, you name it. And we're trying to present information we've never presented to anyone before. And so we're all newbies in this area called information presentation, if for lack of a better word. Okay, I myself included. As I said in one of my videos, and I believe it was when I did the autopsy report and the findings, the pathological findings, and so forth. I don't have a medical background to be discerning medical terminology, nor do I have a legal background to discern legal terminology or investigative background to discern a crime scene or anything else like that. What I do, where I do qualify, is under the guise of studying common sense, taking a look at something with your five senses, immersing yourself in that experience, and coming out with the best conclusion that satisfies your senses. That's all. Just basic common sense. You know right from right, wrong from wrong, up from up, down from down. Okay, well, you got the basics already. So the fear that we're talking about tonight is the false evidence appearing real. It's coming from all over the place and causing distraction and distortion of the truth and facts of the case. Of the truth and the facts of the case. Most people will mix truth with facts, facts that are not necessarily true. In other words, am I talking to you about my facts or am I talking to you about the facts, universal facts? And when I say universal, I mean universal facts that everyone can agree with. Everyone can agree with. If I see the color red, do you see the same color red I see? And so on and so forth. And so universal facts is where we all live, where we all have an understanding. When it's one person's facts versus another person's facts, that's versus another person's facts, and so on. And here it lies the difference in degrees of perception and quote unquote different truths. So not everyone's truth is going to be identical to the next person's truth, if you get what I'm saying. And so to help us tonight um, better prepare ourselves for the new information coming up into this case, as well as the additional information coming out of the court, I wanted to just share a couple of things with you this evening that will help guide you going forward, which has helped guide me going forward, and just to keep our sanity too. It's been a crazy case, up and down, in and out. That's for sure. But just to keep your focus on what's important and what isn't. That's pretty much bottom line. We have content creators putting out content on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Okay, and so we want to be able to, of course, involve ourselves in a way to where we can discern, what is fact-based and pretty much what's false, what's not necessarily there, what doesn't necessarily click or fall into place. All right. Much love to everyone. We got 160 people here tonight. Rayanne S., how you doing? And we're about to get into our live. Okay, so with that said, we got to go to our usual screen share mode here because I want to begin to pull up some things that are going to help us to identify the fear factor or the false evidence appearing real in tonight's live. So let's see if I can screen share. Okay. And first thing up, I want to post, obviously, going to be our disclaimer because we're going to be getting into posting information. And so if anyone's looking to actually share content, I would strongly suggest you get a disclaimer, copyright disclaimer, content disclaimer before posting any information to protect your channel from unwarranted interruptions and strikes. Okay. I mean, it does help. It's helped me tremendously. And that will allow you to continue running your channel interruption free, so to speak. Okay. Now, with our disclaimer up here, now we can get to our first piece of work. Now, type of one, if you can see this picture I'm putting up, and then I want you to just take a moment and study the picture. Type of one in the room if you can see it first. That lets me know you can. And then just take a moment, study the picture for a minute. That is the content. Now, some of you may have seen this picture before, and some of you may have not seen the picture before. But if you have, just type a 1. Good, good. Everybody's in line. Good. And if you study this picture long enough with your eyes focused, 100% concentration and attention on what this picture starts to reveal to you, you'll begin to see some things. As we've looked at the 36-hour video and the crime scene photos I'm alluding to, but I wanted to do an exercise with you this evening that will help you to regain your focus whenever you do watch the 36-hour videos or the crime scene photos and or any information pertaining to the case. The picture before you holds content. If you've seen it before, then you know where I'm going. If you haven't, then you're about to learn something new. Saber Abraham, welcome. Nan O, welcome. Kiana Thompson, welcome. Gary Wright, welcome. Brooke Valentine, CEO, another brand creation. How you doing, love? There's my other moderator for this evening. I show you this picture because it has meaning to it. It has meaning to it. Just like the Kenneka Jenkins case has meaning to us. Picture before you is a picture. I want you to tell me what you see. Type in exactly what you see. What is it giving you the appearance of? I'm getting to the case. I'm getting to the case. But what is it giving you appearance of? All right, some people say old lady. Another person says, yes, it's 2 images in one. Brooke Valentine says it's an old lady and a young girl. 9 says a man and a woman. Tanya says an elderly lady. Lovely the Great says a lady with a weird hat. Pamela says a young lady. Kiana Thompson says, oh, what does Kiana say? Two different women. Kay Smith says deception. Juanita says 2 and 1. How you doing, Cynthia? Okay. Now that's what your perception tells you. If you said it's an old woman and you're looking at the nose here and the mouth down below the nose and the chin down here where it looks like she's wearing a fur coat, where all this fur is, her chin is buried down in the fur coat, and she's got some kind of a possible like a hood or even white hair. Some people can actually see white hair. And she has a big elongated nose. You can actually see an old woman. That's for some. Others can see a young woman with her head turned over her right shoulder. And now she's got black hair, and her ear is right here. And what appears to be some kind of a hair decoration coming out of her hair, maybe a feather, and so forth. But I share with you this picture because when you look at content long enough, it can start to appear to be different things in different ways to different people. And looking at the Kenneka Jenkins case, we have looked at this case, the same 36-hour video footage the same crime scene photos, the same Rosemont police report narratives, and all of us, to some degree, come out with something different, don't we? And it has happened over and over and over. It has happened. Misha says it's a lady with a mask being pulled over her head. My eyes are tripping, focus going in and out, Perry Hinton says. Yeah, looks are deceiving, Watch Out Squad says. You're absolutely right. Looks are deceiving. H-Town, how you doing? 100. And that's what the message is under the acronym tonight, false evidence appearing real. Some will see certain things one way, others will see certain things another way. Are they right or are they wrong? You see, only you can decide that. And this is where your perception plays a very important part in giving it meaning as to the reasons why you're following this case or investigating this case and putting out content on this case. Whichever it is, whichever it is, you're giving meaning to this case in some way, shape, or form. So my message regarding this content that I'm sharing with you is just be careful and be responsible for the content you are creating and presenting on your channels. And that makes sense. It is extremely important to keep the focus on the case and not on something else. It is important to keep the information pertaining to what you see universally accurate to what everyone else may see. And to help other people to see it the way you see it, definitely be patient and take the time to explain your content. Take your time to explain fully your content. Don't just show a picture, tell people what it is, and then move on to the next picture. Or show a video, tell people what they're supposed to see in the video, and move on to the next clip. Or tell people what the narrative report says to you or means to you without universally sharing it with them to see what it means to them. Makes sense? Because that's what'll keep content understandable and universally understandable for everyone. So I hope I drove my point home by bringing this to your attention. It is a simple piece of information, but we can sometimes lose our way and we start to see the old lady more than we see the young woman, and vice versa. We see the young woman more so than we see the old lady. And then we're caught in between, well, which is it, since you're showing us both? Remember, the truth really lies in the eyes of the beholder. It's in the eyes of the beholder. What you see is what you see. My job is to help you to understand what you see as best as I can. If I fail in doing that, you're supposed to hit the dislike. You're supposed to hit the dislike. I didn't like that because that didn't make sense. Okay, boop, you deserve a dislike. Now, if you made sense and it was accurate, then you hit the like button. And that makes sense too. So follow your senses. They won't let you down. Okay. And I bring that up to get to my next area here, which was something that I wanted to share. And this was This was something important. And that is a picture, a snapshot of a telephone engagement that I had recently with Barbara Burris from the Little Dreadhead family on Facebook. Also, Miss Tiffany M. Draper was part of that phone conversation. There was another individual. I forget her name, so please forgive me. But she was a part of that phone conversation with Barbara Burris, which was conferenced in, myself included. And as you can see, Tiffany Draper was down here below on the bottom. We've got Barbara here in the upper right-hand corner. We've got Barbara's companion, not companion, but one of her followers were a part of that. I think it's Juanita. I'm not sure. Forgive me if I said the wrong name, but she was a part of that conference call, along with a very interesting gentleman that we were having the call with. And this goes to the fear or the false evidence appearing real element in this case. And I bring this up because when you have an individual who comes to a content creator, whether they be on Facebook or YouTube, and they come appearing to have vital information about something pertaining to the Kenneka Jenkins case, and in this case, this individual in the center left-hand corner of this snapshot did supposedly, allegedly, have some information pertaining to the case, direct information regarding the case, piqued our interest to find out what it was all about. And hence the reason for myself, Tiffany Draper, Barbara Burris, Shawnita, and this individual having a conference call. This individual stated that they knew what happened to Kenneka, and we wanted to know, obviously. This individual stated that they were there at the party. This individual stated that they are related to Kenneka, family related, and said some things to gain our interest and pique our interest to a point where we wanted to check it out to make sure that it was real. And hence the reason for the snapshot. Only to find out that we were given bits and pieces of things that only raised more questions than we did get answers. Who was this person? Where did they come from? How did they know Kenneka? Where are they from? What school did they go to? Just little things like that. And how are they related to this case? Only to find out that nothing really came out of this at all pertaining to straight answers, straight facts, or anything. And this fell into the acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real category. Now, if someone came to you with information pertaining to something you wanted to find out, is Tiffany Draper in here? Oh, there she is. Tiffany, how you doing, love? Your ears and eyes must have been sizzling and ringing because I was definitely shouting you out. I was disappointed in this conference call because nothing availed from it. Tiffany and Barbara Burris, as well as I believe Shanita, if I might be mentioning her name incorrectly, please correct me, Barbara. Um, we didn't really get anything from this conference. And Barbara had taken the time out of her busy schedule to set this up and get me on the phone, Tiffany on the phone, and set this call up, only to find out that we were disappointed in what we had learned, which was nothing, absolutely nothing. And so this was given to us under the guise of false information appearing real. We thought it was real. We believed that the person that was coming to us with some vital information regarding the case had something to say, only to find out they didn't have too much to say. And I bring this up only because if the person that was involved in this conversation, I think his name was a little Newski, came to Barbara Burris with some information and didn't deliver it properly, then they should rethink their approaches to the reason why they came to Barbara to begin with. One thing I know about Barbara Burris, she doesn't like to waste her time. I don't blame her. One thing I do know about Tiffany Draper is that she doesn't like to waste her time either, especially with false information, hearsay, third party talk. Neither do I. I don't like to waste my time with that at all. But we had to check it, we had to vent it, and that was a good education for us all to walk away with, because now we know how to treat it. And so we have to sift through what appears to be real sometimes. We have to sift through to get to the truth, to get to the facts, to get to the point. Does it fit or not? And in this case, it didn't. So this is part of the reason I'm sharing this with you is be careful on who tells you, "Oh, this happened," and they really can't prove that it happened. Okay, or as they say, show you a receipt. Scrutinize receipts, folks. I see a lot of, well, not a lot. I see a number of content creators out there talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking some more and talking a little bit more on their platforms, but will not show you any kind of receipts what they're talking about. One content creator was out there, didn't know that there was an ongoing, in progress court activity pertaining to Teresa Martin and her negligence case, and told her subscribers that the case was closed. Teresa Martin lost the case. And I overheard that, and I said, "What is she talking about?" They just got finished. Matter of fact, they just started the court proceedings just this month. In fact, the next court date is the 17th. So I was wondering why on earth this content creator didn't know that Teresa Martin is in progress with her court case right now. What were they talking about? I don't know if you've heard that from a content creator out there, but I certainly did. Another content creator said that the Rosemont Crown Plaza Hotel doesn't have a swimming pool. I heard that, and not only heard it, but I was in the cut listening in, and I could not believe that this content creator did not know that the Crown Plaza Hotel has a swimming pool. In fact, they did a 2.5 hour live stuck because lo and behold, the subscribers mentioned to them on their live that I had called the Crown Plaza Hotel by phone the night before and talked about the swimming pool and remember the feces in the pool? Remember that phone call I did? Yeah. Just the next day, they didn't know that the Crown Plaza Hotel had a swimming pool. And they were telling their subscribers, no, no, Crown Plaza doesn't have a swimming pool. You got to go down the street. The pool was a couple of blocks away. No, no, no. The Crown Plaza doesn't have a swimming pool. I laughed. I said, what kind of research is that? Only for them to persuade the channel holder, the content creator, to get on Google and do a Google Earth find to find the hotel and go inside and see the swimming pool. They didn't even know how to navigate the Google Earth map to enter the hotel, unfortunately. False evidence appearing real. And it's sad, but it's very true. And for someone who had been on the case for quite some time that did not know that the Crown Plaza Hotel had a swimming pool and stood there for almost a half hour trying to convince his audience that they didn't have a swimming pool, but the audience, having due diligence, persuaded the content creator to go and fact check his own work. And lo and behold, he then found out that afternoon, 2.5 hours later on the live, that the Crown Plaza did have a swimming pool. But false evidence appearing real once again. And so keeping your focus on this case is so vitally important, but also educating yourself to know better and to, yes, challenge the content creator. Don't just sit there in the chat room and not say anything. Challenge the content creator and put them on correction. And so they know that, if they're going to tell you something, it better be true. Facts. Facts. It's 100% facts. The ones that are selling and pressing the word, I'm telling you the facts, be careful. Let them show you what facts they're talking about. False evidence appearing real. Be careful. Just be careful. But I want to give a big shout out to Barbara Burris, Tiffany M. Draper, and the person who was involved in the conference call that evening for their participation and alerting me to be a part of that call, thinking of me as a very important partner in this case. Much love and appreciation goes to you, Barbara and Tiffany, for including me in that, because the three of us know that how important it is to keep this thing on a steady rail, rather than try to fan it back and forth with a lot of falsehoods. So much love to you, definitely. Oh, okay, Tiffany, I hear you. No, I'm not messy. I'm just going to spit it out. That's right, Tiffany. I'm not messy. Lots of other people are, but I try not to be messy. But yeah, false evidence appearing real. There is a fear factor in the Kenneka Jenkins case. But my job is to not only come with the content that I investigate, but also to remind us in a very, very definite and certain way that there are eyes still on this case that'll hold truth to the top, that will put your feet to the fire. And Barbara Burris is one of them. Tiffany Draper most certainly is another. And several other content creators. Watch Out Squad is another. Thriller Media is another. And we're not going to allow false information appearing real people out there to try to even think that they can get away with it without us, calling them out on it. All right, so let me get to my next piece here. All right, so remember the old lady and the young lady in our first example, because that's going to stay with you for a while. Another piece I want to discuss that's been still out there today. I'm trying to see if I can blow it up. Okay. Let me go to the chat for a second before I go to the next. I appreciate you, Martinique. 200 people in the chat. Much love to you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's right, BB. I hear you. Barbara's serious. You don't come to her channel with a bunch of garbage because she will block you quickly. Quickly. She doesn't tolerate it. Nikita, thank you. She will do it quickly. And don't get on Tiffany Draper's bad side. Oh my goodness. You will be burnt for at least a good couple of weeks before you decide to come back. Oh my goodness. Much love to the ladies in the house. Yeah, that's right, baby. You got a strong game when it comes to blocking. That's right. Anyway, I bring this next item up in the false evidence appearing real because this was brought up by, I believe it was posted just a couple of days ago by, I think her name is Diana Aguilar or Aguiar, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She might be in the chat room tonight. And I thank her. I wanted to, personally thank her for posting that because this item keeps surfacing. And this was one of the first items that caught us all off guard. In fact, Tiffany Draper talked a little bit about that tonight on her live, this afternoon on her live, as to who the creator of this item, where this thing came from. But I wanted to actually post it to talk about it a little bit, and because I was able to come across it, go over it again, and only find out that let's just say if this was a person of color speaking these words, they didn't do a good job, because as you read this, you can definitely discern that this is not a person of color talking. I think that's the best way I can say it. Okay. And for them to have written this, taken time to write this statement the way they did, because you can compare this statement to the Rosemont police report narratives, you'll find that it is entirely in a different format. Entirely. And so the body of the statement here on September 9th, 2017, at about maybe 2:30 a.m., I went to the Crown Plaza Hotel to chill with my boy Macho, who works as the midnight security. Maybe twice a week, I go there to spark up with Macho on his break. We go down to the kitchen area. Now, that stopped me right there to say, we go down. It's okay. Well, where were they going? Where were they going down from? They must have been up somewhere. So where were they coming from? That was never explained, and so forth. And we smoke up in the cooler. Usually it's just me and Macho, but on this night, there was an older man who looked like a janitor smoking with us. Macho introduced us, but I forgot his name. So maybe 15 to 20 minutes into our session, I stopped there and I said, into our set, who uses language to say that they were smoking and called it a session? Who does that? Now, for those of you who do smoke, do you call smoking a session? So I knew right away that this was shaky ground to continue to even try to believe. You don't call you smoking a session. You know, if you smoke a joint or you blunt, you just light up and chill. I was looking for those words a heck of a lot more than you know, we were in a session, if you know what I mean. You don't call your smoking a session. Not unless you have a smoking jacket and you're laid up in a lounge somewhere, maybe, you know, in a library with a slippers on and pajama bottoms and things of that nature, twiddling your mustache. Anyway, I was just trying to make light of this. Is Malika in the house? If Malika's in the house, much love to you. She must have heard her ears ringing. She knew I was coming on live. John must be out there. Anyway, make a long story short, on this particular piece of content that was put out there, was only identified later coming from another content creator that didn't have anything else better to do than to try to see if they can put one over on public concerning this case, which was, to me, no more, no less than the highest form of disrespect that I've ever seen. To try to publish a false document like this, uh, which didn't even hold water, to say the least, it was the highest form of disrespect to this case, to the true content creators of this case, and to the family of Kenneka Jenkins. Point blank. Point blank. Why they decided to do that may have been for more personal reason than for any other reason whatsoever. But to me, this was done out of total disrespect, period. And so, being mindful of the false evidence appearing real category, this fell into it all the way to the bottom. And we must be mindful of any of these type of documents that may be floating out there, whether they be on YouTube or Facebook or Snapchat, Instagram, etc. We have to be mindful of these items that some of us bring to light and try to make it appear to be real when it's not, because it does a disservice to this case that we all want to get solved and resolved. A huge disservice. So we have to call it out. We have to call it out. Malika the Warrior is in the house. Hey, beautiful people. Hey, Malika. Much love to you. So, yes, this falls in the F.E.A.R category, false evidence appearing real category. Absolutely. I'm going to let that show there. Tiffany wrote something very important. Why in the hell would the police officer take a statement from someone macho that admit to rape and murder, but doesn't arrest them? Use your brain. Thank you, Tiffany. Yes, and you brought that up several times on your channel. Definitely. Why incriminate yourself in such a thing like that, and you're talking to police about it without fear of being arrested? Come on. So we knew right then and there that someone was out there to try to distract and try to distort and dilute the facts of this case. And it's sad. And it really goes to that person's self-esteem. It really lets you know what kind of self-esteem that person emits from themselves. And that's key to identifying truth and reality. As I told you about the content creator that didn't know that the Crown Plaza had a swimming pool in it, yeah, call them out. Because if I showed you a swimming pool the night before and you end up in a content creator's chat room the next day and they say that there's no pool, yeah, beat them up. Absolutely. If you know a document not to be true, oops, sorry about that, BB. I think I hit the wrong button there. Okay, yeah. Please do not block or um yeah, don't block BB. She's fine. Leave BB alone. All right, sorry about that, Barbara. Moderators are very got a keen eye in here. Definitely. But we want to keep things on the right track. We want to keep things on the right track. Let me just scroll back up here for a minute. All right. These types of documents shouldn't even be still a thing at this point. It's only because that there are a lot of newbies why people would still pay attention to that. Yeah, thriller media, you're right. You're absolutely right. And this is where we have to be mindful of the fear. False evidence appearing real, being put on not only YouTube, but Facebook. Barbara goes through that, I mean, every day. Tiffany Draper, every day. We're all dealing with it every day, but we have to start hammering it down and letting the content creators or the channel holders know, not here, not here. And some of them don't really care because they'll tell you, well, I don't care, unsubscribe from my channel if you don't like it. And that's what you should do, in my opinion. That's what you should do. Okay. Moving right along. I wanted us to also visit. I have to open up my email here. Oh, this document here, I'll try to blow up. Try it again. And that one more thing. Just bear with me. All right. It's coming. All right. I'm getting there. I just got big, long fingers. I stand 6'1". So for to be 6'1", you have big hands. So they come with long fingers. Oh man. Anyway, take off your shirt and dance. I hear you. All right. So we get down to our next piece that I wanted to cover, which is what we've all seen before. This was put out by the Rosemont Public Safety Department regarding the Kenneka Jenkins timeline. And that's another piece of important information pertaining to this case because there have been content creators that have been really, really focusing in on the timeline of this case. And I, in no way, shape, or form, am here to discredit anyone from trying to work on one of the most important parts of this case called the timeline. This is the toughest part of the case to put together and one of the most important to get together. Because once it is together, then the case can be resolved a whole lot faster and a whole lot quicker. But hence we have the timeline here, along with areas in which the timeline falls under, along with the dates and the timeline portion covers the areas in which, according to video surveillance footage, Kenneka was captured on video surveillance cameras. Okay. These cameras in these areas were working to capture Kenneka Jenkins on video footage. We all got it. Can't get any more simpler than that. However, for those that have been working on the timeline, there's a problem. It's a major problem. In fact, it has been the problem since day one. And you know what the problem is? How many of you know what the problem is? Give me an idea. How many of you know what the problem is concerning the timeline? This is going to be very interesting to see your answers because there have been a couple of content creators that have been really, really working hard and trying to tie the timeline together. But I'm not going to dampen anybody's efforts by saying otherwise. However, a fact is a fact. Anyone have any ideas on why it has been so difficult to put together an accurate timeline or more or less a conclusive timeline? No one has any idea? Here's some ideas. Okay. Terry says the hour off, the 1 hour off. Okay. Yes, that goes to part of it. The two different timestamps. Yes, that goes to part of it. The date. That goes to part of it. Things happen 1 hour behind what is said. Yes, that goes to part of it. Different times, Deborah says. Okay, that goes to part of it. Two timestamps. Okay, so everyone is in agreement about the two timestamps being a part of the distortion in the timeline. Good. Good. Anything else? Is there anything else? Remember, your perception is the truth. Time jumping. Hell of a chick says time jumping. Not all cameras working. Dates, times, time zones, and universal time. Yep. Time skips. Good. Edited footage and missing footage. Good. Honeybee. 17 missing hours, all in the name. Good. UTC. Property says. No video or freezer. Good. Eastern and Central times and dates. Good. Deborah Hargrove. Yeah. And you know something? Your answers, BB says editing. Absolutely. Date is different. Absolutely. The reason why it is so difficult to come to a conclusive timeline in this is because, yes, we are missing footage, people, period. How can anyone, especially in this case, think that they are ever going to draw or come to a conclusive timeline when there is missing video surveillance footage? And the most difficult and frustrating thing that anyone can try and work on is to try to draw a conclusive timeline when it is impossible when you have missing video footage because of cameras not working or was purposely or inadvertently turned off from us seeing anything else. I wanted to make that statement tonight so we don't have to continue racking our brains over trying to tie up a loose end called we don't have any video footage, but we can still tie the timeline together. It is absolutely impossible. And if you have proof that someone has done that, not only in this case, but any other case out there that has broken timelines in it because of missing video surveillance footage, please lead me to that content creator. Please tell me who that is. Please tell me the video you saw that will give a conclusive timeline to this case. It is the toughest thing to try to do. And my hat's off to Trey Gang for trying to do it. But if you ask Trey Gang, you know, how how he feels about that whole aspect of trying to put it together, he'll tell you how frustrated he is because that's what he's been trying to do. He's been trying to put together the timeline, however, in spite of missing video surveillance footage. And you just can't do it. Or else this case would have been solved already. To have a guy like Trey Gang, absolutely, this case would have really been solved already for as long as he's been working on it. That's just my opinion. He would have been the man to do it. And I would have been happy. A lot of us would have been happy. But it is very difficult. Only because they purposely took out, intentionally misled, misinformed us about video surveillance cameras, the video surveillance footage, and everything else regarding this case because it serves a purpose and an outcome that serves them. That serves them. And so I'm sure that they're watching our video lives, all of our lives and the videos that we produce, laughing in their chairs. Oh, there goes another one trying to do it. Here's another one trying to avail themselves of the timeline, and so on. And so my hat and heart goes out to Trey Gang for making an absolutely strong attempt to try to tie the timelines together. I wish we had that video surveillance footage. You know, the one that was missing in the main lobby area of the hotel. And in the back dock entrance. And in the lower level freight elevator area. And all of the places that they listed on their narrative reports, the 6 cameras, I believe there was more than 6, all of those places make up the rest of the timeline. We would have seen who left the parking lot had that camera been on and what time they left. We would have seen who went back and forth in and out of that back dock area, including the Rosemont Police Department when they showed up, wouldn't we? We would have seen it. That would have closed the timeline. The main lobby camera would have captured who was coming in and out of the guest rooms in the hotel, when they arrived and when they left. That would have closed that gap in the timeline, and so on and so forth. And so, since they played this game called let's shut the cameras off, let's edit the footage, let's delete certain things, let's add 2 timestamps, let's skip the footage, that's exactly what we got on the Rosemont Public Safety Department's website. They knew what they were putting on there, and they knew it was going to frustrate us once we got our hands on it. Lord knows. But once again, props to Trey Gang. And I know he's going to continue to try to work on that, but I wanted to send a message from my live, maybe to his ears tonight, to say, brother, you know, I appreciate the hard work and effort that you put out there to try to draw and pull together a conclusive timeline to get us a better result in getting this case reopened from that aspect of it, the video surveillance footage and the timeline, you know, than anybody else that I've actually seen work that hard on it and still be frustrated because you really can't tie it together. Whether anything happened in the swimming pool, whether anything happened in the main lobby area. Kenneka's mother said that during the 911 call that you know, the girls told her that they left Kenneka in the lobby area. Well, where's the footage? She may have been in the lobby area, as Malika pointed out in her last live. But we won't know that without that footage to complete that time segment, will we? All we have is basically hearsay or statements made from other people that stated that she was in the lobby area, like Andrew Holmes said that he had seen Kenneka walk into that lobby and then walk back in the elevator on the main lobby area. But we haven't seen the footage. So it does damper his statement, doesn't it? And it's hard to come to a conclusion to say if that's a fact or not. That's what's difficult. That's what's difficult. So as I said before, my heart and hat goes out to Trey Gang for even making an attempt to try to pull that all together, because it is very difficult. Difficult for me, difficult for him, and all the other content creators that has been working on that. Straight Drop too. Straight Drop, Mr. Jackie Dragon, Chaos Sector. I mean, I can go right down the list of all the content creators that have been working on the case. Had it been for that, I mean, we would have solved it already. We would have definitely had different results. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that to light. Not to say we're giving up on the timeline, but to acknowledge that we cannot get to a definitive, conclusive case result regarding a broken timeline. So we have to look elsewhere to try to tie the ends together, if that makes any sense. Yes, great job to Trey Gang. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me move on to the next piece. Got to go back to my email segment here. See what else I got to share with you. And to absolutely a good idea. I want you to just take a look at this picture here, as we did in the beginning of the live. Because this is an important picture. I'm sure a lot of you remember this picture, and this picture says 1,000 words. Let's get to it. I want you to take a look at this picture for a moment. Just as we did the young woman, old woman picture, this was one of the very first pictures that was discussed in this case, was that outside area of the parking lot where people come in and go out. To make my point, and to ask yourself, had this camera on top of this security booth in the parking lot, had that camera been on, would we have better answers as to who came in and who left that parking area on September the 9th, 2017? Yes or no? Type your answer, yes or no. If this camera was on, would we have better answers as to what happened on September the 9th of 2017 at the Crown Plaza Hotel? If this camera was on. And you have to know, because the camera in this picture is right here. And it is pointing in the exit position, meaning that the person who has a vehicle exiting this parking lot has to stop their car to make payment or redeem their ticket that they get validated from the front desk to leave the parking lot. So we would have seen the automobile, the vehicle, and most likely the people inside those vehicles as to who left and what time. Just this camera alone would have told us a whole lot more. But the Crown Plaza decided to make sure that that camera was not working, didn't they? They knew it was important because that camera would have given us a close-up shot of every vehicle plus their license plate, make, model, and how many people would have been in that vehicle departing from the hotel parking lot. Had that camera been on. So it does frustrate, once again, the timeline. Let me get rid of some of this. Let me bring this up. This is the lower level kitchen area that I'm bringing up. This is the lower level kitchen area that I'm bringing up that was part of the path that Kenneka had taken into the kitchen area. In fact, the double doors that you see down the hall was to the lower level bathroom, in which she did exit and then re-enter this area during the time that she was trying to find her way out of this area, allegedly. However, if you can see my arrow up in this area here, let me see if I can blow this up without losing the picture. Right here, just above the red water pipe, which it appears to be from this photograph, there is a camera that would have captured Kenneka's motions leaving and coming back into this area during the time she was in the lower level kitchen areas in the basement. Had that camera been on, it would have captured Kenneka's moments, and we would have known what time she was in this area and for how long. However, they made sure, once again, that that camera was not working or inoperable. To do what? Bust up the timeline. So it is hard to say how long she was in this area if and when she was in this area. And they knew that. They knew it. It doesn't take a rocket science to start figuring the math out. Let's go to the other one. Another area. Just bring it up real quick. There we go. Would have been this back dock area. This back dock area. Rosemont Police Department stated that Kenneka was back here, not far away from where the upper kitchen is, and had this camera captured her moments and movements in this area, we would have known what time she would have been here, for how long, and who else was with her. But once again, they had to cut that time out of the equation as well to make it more difficult for us to find out how long she was in this area and with whom she was in this area with. If you look close enough, according to the picture that the police department had taken of this back dock entrance camera, you will see something absolutely magnificent. You'll see that the camera's on. How you doing, dark and lovely? You'll see the camera's on. As they took the photograph of this back dock area and employee entrance, this camera looks functional. That would have given us more information, resulting in a more conclusive timeline. However, they made sure we didn't get it. They made sure we didn't get it. I was also able to find something very interesting, extremely interesting. When I saw it, I said, "Oh no, not another one." But I said, "Nothing surprises me about this case anymore." When I saw it, I said, "Okay, now I know they're playing games." Next photo up is a photo of the southwest entrance area into the hotel, the area in which Bree, Maya, Monifa, and Kenneka actually entered from the southwest parking lot area in through this area to those doors that you see before you. This was before the reconstruction for the Murray Brothers Caddyshack restaurant was in play. This is what they saw as they walked down the hallway or down the footpath to those doors leading into the hallway at the southwest entrance. However, believe it or not, this is what I found. Hopefully, I can get it all the way to where I need it. And I think you should be able to see it too. What do you think I'm looking at? Tell me what you see. What do you think I'm looking at? Tell me what's there in front of you. You see anything? Uh-oh. Watch out, squad says a camera. Jen Duncan says a camera. Nikita Johnson says a camera. Shantia Blue says a camera. Linda Truman says a camera. Dark and Lovely says a camera. Andrea Harris says a camera. Deborah Hargrove says a camera. Pooh Bear says a camera. Hell of a Chick says a camera. Demetric Williams, a camera. Dee says a camera. Nikita says a camera. Yeah, free game says a red line. Okay. Red line. Camera above the double doors of the window. Pamela Jones. Yeah. What happened to that footage? We would have definitely seen when Bree left the first time when Ty's live had commenced, when she wasn't there. We would have definitely seen Bree exit the southwest entrance area to go to the parking lot. We would have had a better close-up of what she held in her hand when she came back, which was some kind of a drink, might have been a Red Bull, if she had her pocketbook with her, etc., etc. And we would have definitely had a time stamp on it had we had that footage. Straight Drop and I had had a conversation, and we found a camera down in the food court, which he posted on. Which he posted on one of his videos. Cameras all over the place, but I wanted to share that with you, just to let you know the kind of people that we're dealing with concerning the Crown Plaza. And had we had this footage, we would have had a more conclusive timeline. The southwest entrance of the Crown Plaza Hotel. And obviously, I've pointed this out just as well as other content creators have pointed this out. Had we had the camera footage from the main lobby area, especially the main lobby area, which would have captured everyone who came to the party, everyone who left the party, the timeline. One of the most important cameras in the hotel next to the front desk is the main lobby area. How convenient that that was not working. Had we had that information, we would have had a more conclusive timeline. Especially from this camera, because this camera being in such close quarters to the elevators that went up to the guest rooms would have captured faces, facial recognition shots a whole lot better. So hence my point in showing you these various different areas that have cameras, but was reported inoperable and not working. This is the reason why we do not have a conclusive timeline. And the Crown Plaza reported to the Rosemont Police Department on the 14th a listing of all the inoperable cameras, and the police department should have fell out. If they were truly investigating this case, they would have asked why these cameras were not serviced by the people that were contracted to give security to this hotel. Because obviously it's a high liability. One of the hotel's main accounting functions, operating a business, is to always reduce liability, not to increase it. But they thought we weren't going to be looking at this. That's what they believed. They said, oh, we'll put the information on the website. Nobody's going to look at it. At least we're being honest. We have nothing to hide, I guess they thought. However, us being who we are and concerned, we grabbed a hold of the evidence and started looking through it. And now I believe they're sitting back and they wish they hadn't released all this information on their website because they have a problem. They have a major problem. Because now they have to explain to Teresa Martin's attorney, the Beam team, during these court proceedings that are in progress, why these cameras weren't on. Why these cameras were not serviced. Why these cameras stayed inoperable up in almost until the end of the month of September, just before the funeral, before they were ever serviced. That's going to be a very tough answer for the hotel to give to the Beam team during the gross negligence proceedings. This is where they're stuck. And this is where I strongly believe Teresa will win her case. That's a good question, OG, Dub, Cheap Town, Sweetie. How can this case be reopened? How can this case be reopened? Very good question. But the evidence that we have as content creators continue to put out and magnify and amplify to the public in hopes that Teresa Martin's attorneys captures this good content that we're putting out, they will begin to look at criminal negligence, which will in fact open a criminal investigation after the negligence case has been resolved. That's the way this case can be reopened, is if we continue to magnify all of the holes in their story. This was no accident. As all of the evidence that I've shared with you this evening, flat out, this definitely was no accident. That's how you can reopen this case. You not only prove gross negligence in a civil suit, but you can also prove criminal negligence, where there was intent in a criminal investigation. And the only people who can do that would be people higher than the Rosemont Police Department, which would be the FBI. Or the Criminal Investigation Division in the state of Chicago. They could do it too. And they could do it through the Attorney General's office. They deemed that this was criminal negligence on behalf of the hotel, also criminal negligence for the Rosemont Police Department in the way they conducted their investigation based on the evidence that they gave us on their website. This would also be a slam dunk. And also further investigation to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office and the way they handled the autopsy with a trainee. This would be a major explosion in disintegrating their defense. And so content creators like myself, Barbara Burris, Tiffany M. Draper, Chaos Sector, Jackie Dragon, Malika the Warrior, Chloe Olvera. I mean, I'll just continue to go on and on. Watch Out Squad, you name it. HueMonguss D, Straight Drop, Truth for Reality, I Have Questions Team, and a host of others. We keep magnifying this kind of evidence on our channel and put together a playlist, as I stated earlier before, and keep our content in those playlists for the authorities to review when it comes down at time. They'll have all the evidence they need to napalm their ass. So on that point, I'll say thumb me up, Jack. Also, another area I want to bring to our attention. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Also, another area that they have to contend with is the area of the 9th floor. In the area of the 9th floor, according to the complaint that Teresa had filed with her attorneys regarding the lawsuit, the hotel is going to have to explain if there were operating cameras on the 9th floor, as they address it in the complaint, that there was an operable camera on the 9th floor. According to the attorney's investigation, then there should have been operating cameras on all floors near the elevators. There are 14 floors in the Crowne Plaza Hotel, 503 guest rooms. Crowne Plaza Hotel. Those 14 floors would have 14 cameras. We already know the main lobby camera was out. However, Teresa Martin's attorneys have to prove that there was a camera on the 9th floor. If they do prove that there was a 9th floor camera, they will prove also other cameras on other floors, like the 6th floor and the 11th floor. Those numbers we've heard before as well. And those floors would contain video footage that we have never seen nor received. And those cameras would have video footage that would close the timeline again to a more conclusive timeline, identifying Kenneka in these areas. So we're paying careful attention as to where cameras are, where cameras not only are, where operable cameras are, and where the hole in their case is. Because that's what we need to keep amplifying. I believe that there was a camera on the 9th floor because according to the security guards, Rosemont police report narratives, he had seen 3 females out in the hallway. I mean, we've heard it before. And he interacted with them and engaged them in a conversation and told them to leave the hallway and go back into the hotel guest room. It says it right there in his statement. So how could he have known or seen these girls on the 9th floor? How would he have known they were there? Who told him they were there? Perhaps the front desk when he was roaming the hotel during his tour. How could you not have security in areas that you do not have camera security? Wherever a camera is, hence you will find security. It would only make sense for security to follow its own tracks. Why on earth would they leave the back dock area, employee entrance area, totally unsecured, even by a person, the night that Kenneka went missing? Knowing damn well that there was no camera, operable camera working. Why would you leave the door open with no security? Hence liability. So they can't get out of that box. They can't get out of that box. I think I'm doing okay for time. Wanted to make sure I covered some information with you tonight. Just to let you know, I was doing homework. And the infamous, more and more so now than before, the infamous swimming pool area. Let's go to the swimming pool area. When we called Rosemont the last time we got together, on the phone, they gave us quite an interesting conversation about maintenance of the swimming pool area. Do you remember that? Type a 1 in the chat room if you remember that phone call. I hope y'all were with us. Type a 1 in the chat room if you remember that phone call I made to the Rosemont Crown Plaza Hotel and spoke with that woman about the maintenance in the swimming area, security in the swimming area, hotel key cards in the swimming area. How do people go to the swimming area? What time does the pool open and close in the swimming area? Do you remember that? I remember that. I know if they saw my live that I did that night, they would remember that too. Anyway, I bring that up only because even though it is a privacy issue pertaining to an area that needs some kind of security, okay, a camera in the swimming area would have been one of the most logical places to have a camera, especially if you don't have a lifeguard. It's a high liability area in regards to any accidents happening in and around the pool, or someone having an accident and drowning, or more or less having an accident and doing a poo poo in the pool, like what was told to us. However, but during closing hours, as we had learned, the pool is being maintained. Okay. However, it does not prevent or preclude them from having a camera in this area, which would cover a very high liability of anyone being hurt or having a very serious accident here. It has one to tend to doubt any kind of activity, especially a negative activity, such as the one we've learned from the letter that was given to Trey Gang from the security guard in regards to the visibility of this area is so high to have such a criminal act occur in this area. The visibility bar runs along the right side of the whole entire pool, windows all around the perimeter of the pool, in and of itself poses a high security in and of itself. Now, if you're doing something criminal, obviously you don't want to be seen doing something criminal. So it wouldn't make sense to have any kind of a criminal activity being done in such a high visible area, such as the pool area. And so and I'm not saying anything to say anything otherwise than what that letter said. What I am doing is challenging that letter. I'm challenging the security guard statement to Trey Gang. That's what I'm challenging. Because it was information that came from the security guard to Trey Gang. The only thing Trey Gang did was disseminate the information and try to give us a view as to what that information pertained. That's all he did. And once again, my heart and hat goes out to Trey Gang for making an attempt to disseminate that information. However, it came from the security guard, allegedly came from the security guard. And we're still, and I'm sure he's still disseminating and discerning what's fact and what may be fiction. Which I'm sure he had to in order to put together the timeline and the video surveillance footage that goes along with it. But what made it hard for him was the double timestamp. And so he had to do two investigations simultaneously. He had to do the timestamp in the left hand corner, which was 1 hour back, and the timestamp in the right hand corner, which was 1 hour up. So you can imagine the work he had to do in order to disseminate both left and right timestamps in his case investigation, and which was very smart because it does give you two separate narratives because the movements of the hotel were different at different times, hence the result. But in this particular area called the pool area, you see for yourself. There should have been a camera here. Why wasn't there a camera here? to decrease the liability of anyone having an accident or injuring themselves. Is any of this making sense to anyone? I'm not. I'm not just trying to persuade or try to convince you of something. I want to know from you. Does this make sense? One or two. One or two. Because if it makes sense, then you'll know exactly what to look for going forward. Going forward. Read some of your comments here. Yeah, BB, your swim team. Yeah, my swim team. Yeah, we got to go to the hotel and check out and see if they got cameras there. It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. But they figured as long as we didn't have the video surveillance footage and the timelines to go with them, we couldn't figure it out. None of it. None of it. So they knew what they were doing just just for the time being. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, they all knew. Charlize Wilson says, yeah, they all knew. And it does make a lot of sense. This is not rocket science, folks. This is using your five senses. You're taking a look at something that we've never taken a look at before. We're doing something that we've never done before. And we're understanding things that we've not understood before. Yes, I hope it makes sense. Okay. What other things that I want to share with you? I think I'm done there. Wanted to go back to the lower level area. It's funny that the Rosemont Police Department didn't really do a thorough walkthrough of this particular area. Because obviously this area that I'm showing you now, one heck of an area. And the only reason why I say that is because of this item here that we talked about earlier in another angle. I wanted you to see it from a different point of view, from the lower level bathroom doors facing the freight elevator area. And as you can see, just right near the ahead sign in the lower level area, right near the east kitchen wall that Kenneka walked out of, there's a camera. Not only one here, but there's one back here where the where the freight elevator is. See if I can blow that one up too. So you have a double liability in the same area. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit blurry, but you can see the shimmering of the light of the camera on. Right there. Right there, just above the doorway. And this one right here, just above the chairs. It's incredible. One area, double liability. That they want us to believe that this was an accident. They want us to believe that this was an accident. But this is their liability. All of it. A hard box to get out of only because that's the box they put themselves in. And so now that we finally understand it, for those that will be watching this video live later, who didn't have the time to join us tonight, that will be able to review this video and the information pertaining to it, will be able to once and for all know that we are missing video footage. We are missing timeline information, and it was kept from us for a reason. That reason is that there was not a homicide at the Crown Plaza Hotel. It was an accident. That's the story they want us to believe. But now remember the very first picture that we covered in tonight's live, the old lady or the young lady? Which do you see? Well, that's exactly what they're doing to us. Taking all this information and posting it on a website, that's exactly what they did to us. What do you see? Do you see an accident or do you see a homicide? We see an accident, and here's the information that supports it. They were stupid to do that because by disseminating the information the way we did, we don't see an accident, we do see a homicide. Teresa Martin knows that we see a homicide. Her attorneys know that we see a homicide. Hands down, that there's no way that all these cameras being out, all this video footage missing, 17 hours of missing video footage from the upper kitchen alone says that this was no accident. You mean a hotel, this type of a hotel, 4.5 star, 5 star during the day, 4.5 during the night, is going to operate under these conditions like this and have hotel guests and patrons flying in and out of Chicago, go to this hotel and believe that this is how they operate? This is what they trust their security with? Really? Yes, Saba. She did have a court date on March 6th, and the next one is March 17th. Dana Fox, can somebody please get a translator to read the lips of the footage? I will keep asking J for K. What translation are you looking for? Okay, Patricia says, tell me why Kenneka didn't have any blood on her bra or in front of her jacket with her tooth knocked out and her lips are busted? Blood should have been all over her face. I agree. I agree, Patricia. Yeah, there should have been. Well, let's just say a different picture than the one that we saw. I agree. Absolutely. That's right, Nine. Only a fool would believe that this was an accident. Absolutely. Was there any, okay, wasn't there a few guests that made complaints with the police department? None that we know of that was recorded other than the complaints to the security, to the front desk, which involved security to go to the room twice from the other rooms. Those were the only complaints because the kids were making noise, and obviously there was smoke in the smell of marijuana in the hallway. OG Dub Cheap Town says, "What do you think about the hotel guest letter? Which letter is that? The one that Trey Gang received, or the one that Tay had received?" That wasn't a letter. That was more of an email, and that was a receipted email. So that was a legitimate email that she did receive regarding the complaint from the family that was there at the hotel at that time. Okay, just trying to go down some of these comments here because you guys are really putting it out there for me tonight, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Even before the timestamps and all that other crap, it was negligent how they went into that scene from the jump. A house fire gets crime scene tape placed. Yes, CME 92. Yeah, and how that was treated. And how that was treated. I wanted to just show you just one other thing, but this is the hotel's hole in the ground that they stand on. The document that you see on the screen is the report that was given to the Rosemont Police Department regarding the inoperable cameras. This is the box they put themselves in, and it's called the gross negligent box on our side. Because the main question is, why were these cameras out? When were they called for in terms of service? And who made that phone call? Why were the cameras out for an over duration of time? Because it could have prevented this from happening. And I wonder what the hotel is going to say. Anyway, I hope I can play this for you. I wanted to just show you something of another point of observation based on the fear that we've been talking about tonight, which is false evidence appearing real. I want to make sure I have my disclaimer up here. We're just going to go over this piece because I find it very important. I find it very important. But with content creators like Watch Out Squad, HueMonguss D, Thriller Media, like I said, Malika the Warrior, Barbara Burris and Facebook family, the Little Dreadhead family, and a host of others, staying on top of the crucial evidence that pops a hole in this case, it will happen. It will happen. The information is not out there uh, in vain. I believe our information will be used at some point to bring truth and reality to this case from our perspective. And all the inconsistencies that is found in this case by law enforcement, hotel staff, employees, security, et cetera. Absolutely, Tanisha. I mean, Misha. Misha Corbin said that. Absolutely. Yes, Tanisha. Now I'm addressing you. Yes, it was a lady and her husband that made a complaint with the police department. They also mentioned the pool area, how something was going on. Also described who was in there. Yeah, they said that that was a private party. That there was people in business suits and kids in that particular area at that time that that was reported by the family. I remember that. Just going down some of your comments before we get into this video piece. I don't think Kenneka was ever frozen. What about you, John? What do you think? Lisa Reeves. I don't think she was frozen either. Okay, according to the autopsy report that I covered in part 7, uh, during the autopsy examination, which I covered as best as I could, it stated that upon receiving Kenneka at the Cook County Medical Examiner's office, she was not frozen. She was cool, but she was not frozen. Okay, give or take where she didn't come in there stiff as a statue, and full rigor mortis hadn't taken place yet, so they had plenty to work with. Definitely had plenty to work with. Kitchen looks like a surgical room to me, Saba says. Yeah, it does, with all the metal tables and everything. She needed the kind of evidence lip read that the oh, she need that kind of evidence lip read. That's the gay for gay, I guess. Yeah, I read that wrong. Yes, it Andrea Harris. That's what I was trying to explain. Her family was the ones that wanted to get in pool and was told that they couldn't. He also described the people that were there. Right. That was the woman with the little boy that came in with the neck pillow, asking about what time the pool was open and closed and why they couldn't access it. I remember that. Have you ever viewed Chaos Sector's channel, John Hughes? CME 92 asks me. Yes, I have. In fact, I recommend Chaos Sector channel on my channel. John Smith was frozen to death and they brought him back to life. They didn't even attempt to do CPR or anything. Also, didn't look frozen. Proper autopsy goes a long way. I agree. Fire Mama. Tanisha says, how can we get some arrest? Through a criminal investigation. And I think that's in line right now. It's going to take a little time once I believe Teresa, concludes with her gross negligence case. Uh, her turning around and obviously having the wherewithal and the funds to go with it, she'll be able to hire professional private investigators and most likely gain the attention of the FBI at that time for a criminal investigation. Absolutely. And then we may see some arrests because there is no statute of limitations when it comes to murder. None whatsoever. What coverage did we ever see regarding the actual crime taking place near the pool or in the pool room? Right. What actual coverage did we see? What information do we have about that? It's a good question. John, you and several other YouTubers did a great job slicing and dicing this case. You guys, not attorneys, but you did this case like you were a very professional, outstanding job. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. And it's not just me. My heart and hat goes out to the other content creators that, had made major contributions. Mine is just a very small part in this case. And really, all of us together. I'm very proud of all of us that have stuck through this and continue to stick through this, in spite of the trolls, in spite of the misinformation, in spite of the fear, in spite of the false evidence appearing real. Much love to everybody that's sticking this out. I'm sure Teresa Martin truly appreciates it. I think she calls us her wonderfuls in her post on Facebook. Not the other ones, the ones that we know that are promoting the fear, false evidence appearing real, but the ones that are legitimately doing something about it with no pay, with just our laptop computers or our tablets or our cell phones, whatever we're using, just to communicate to the public as to our concerns about it. But other than that, I'm very blessed to be in standings with 54 Keys and Malika the Warrior and Barbara Burris from Facebook. Tiffany M. Draper. I mean, another content creator, and a host of them. I've been naming them off. I'm not ashamed. I'm very proud. I'm very proud because I look at us as having uncommon valor, doing things other people would not even dream or dare to do, but do it because it's right. So I'm in good standings. So and I hope you can actually take a look now. This is the upper kitchen I wanted to get to, and we've seen this 1,001 times. But as you can see, there's nobody in the kitchen yet. But in a moment, you'll see movement in the kitchen. That camera is on before any motion has taken place. And now you see motion. Hence, the camera was on before the assistant food and beverage manager walked in. The camera was on before Kenneka walked into this same kitchen. What does that tell you? It tells you that the cameras were on before any activated motion occurred. They were not activated motion cameras. They were just on. And how this investigation was handled, how this area was contaminated before the investigation ever started. And if you notice the way the first responding officer entered this kitchen area, he started the contamination process as soon as the food and beverage manager left. You'll see right before your eyes. He escorts the food and beverage manager out the door, and then he contaminates the damn crime scene. Hey, just take a look at it. Take a look. He does this all by himself. And for him to follow any kind of death investigation or law enforcement protocol in a crime scene, he broke the rules seconds after he got there for some strange reason. For some strange reason. But that was never stated in his statement, in his report, that I, being the first responder to the case, uh, entered that area with the assistant food and beverage manager. He showed me where she was. I escorted him out. I radio called it in, and then I came back in by myself and I started moving things to hold the doors open, altering the crime scene, contaminating the doors, the floors, and changing the optical crime scene from its original position before the supervisor got there. Yeah, that's what I did. That's not stated in any of the narrative reports. Wonder why. But you see it right before your eyes. And the thing about it is that they didn't think we were going to be looking through all of this information the way we did. No one's going to spend 36 hours looking at boring video footage. They thought wrong anyway. But I wanted you to see it for your own eyes because it reduces the fear going forward. False evidence appearing real, false information appearing real, false statements appearing real, and so forth. And as many times as we watch this upper kitchen footage, the police, according to their own footage, the police are giving us all the evidence that we would need, or let's put it in better hands. Teresa Martin would need, along with her attorneys, for criminal investigation of the Rosemont Police Department and the way they handled this case. They're showing us their investigation skills right now. Who did what? How many times? How many people infiltrated that area? How much time it took for them to do so? And how they secured that area. And the key word there is how the Rosemont Police Department secured this upper kitchen area where they allegedly found Kenneka. Allegedly found Kenneka. I showed you in part 8 that the first responding officer, Officer Walsh, where he found Kenneka was downstairs in the basement, in the southwest corner kitchen basement area. If you haven't seen that video, please do. Not here in the upper kitchen. So it contradicts, according to police statement, it contradicts where they originally found her. Once again, another piece of information that puts a hole in their story. And the more you look at it, the more you'll see over and over and over the visible evidence on how the Rosemont Police Department conducted their investigation, what they did do and what they did not do. And in this case, what they did not do will hold far more heavier than what they did do. Because what they did do is that they didn't do their jobs properly. End result, conclusive. Forensic tech guy, how you doing? Absolutely. So I wanted to share just a little bit of that video piece with you because this seems to be the trophy in which the Rosemont Police Department used to convince the media that this is where they found Kenneka. And this is how they handled their investigation. And that there were no inconsistencies regarding the police reports, the narratives, or the way they conducted the investigation. And for MTV to have done an episode concerning this case and how they presented their information on this case was all one-sided. All of it was one-sided. The producers of the episode held a neutral position where the actual producer himself stated in a video interview that was done by Chasing Truth on her channel. If you haven't heard it, I would definitely recommend you go to Chasing Truth and find that interview with the MTV producer and listen to exactly what he said. And you would be surprised on their position in this case. That producer said that there were some very, very unusual things that they definitely experienced with this case, you know. However, they teetered back the other way. He wanted to interview the Crown Plaza Hotel. They declined. They gave him a statement. That's how they treated it. He didn't see any corruption with the Rosemont Police Department. Well, he was only there for a short period of time. How could he? So that made sense. That's what he said. However, the FBI that's investigating them now has been looking all through them. I guess he didn't get that report. Also, the interviews that the producer had conducted during the time that they were putting together the format for the episode was all one-sided. All one-sided. And so that's what we got, was an MTV episode, True Life Crimes episode, regarding a very one-sided point of view. As we started tonight's live, that was the reason for the very first picture I showed you regarding the old woman and the young woman. What is your perception of this case? And let the public decide. Was this a murder cover-up? Or was this an accident? Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to move on from this video clip. I just wanted you to just gaze your eyes so you know that you've seen it on my channel, on my live, and when we covered that information, at least to a point to where I believe that what we see here in this upper kitchen concerning the Rosemont Police Department was a staged event. Now, that's my opinion. Because from my investigation in part 8 of the video series that I'm doing on the Kenneka Jenkins case, and according to a Rosemont Police Department police officer's narrative, they found Kenneka someplace else. And it's specified exactly where they found her, and not here in the upper kitchen. And that says a lot. Before your very eyes and with your open understanding, it says a lot. Because only the truth is going to ring out here. Now before you, you see the upper kitchen once again. taking a look at it, a careful look at it. Well, we just saw the food and beverage manager moments ago walk across the belly of that kitchen, cut a left around the pillow, around that wall, and head straight, directly straight to the freezer. Now, according to human behavior, that shouldn't have taken place for someone that should have been searching for her. The body language automatically tells you that he knew where she was before he got there. Body language searching for someone would have shown us someone searching for someone, looking under, looking in, looking over, opening up. He should have taken far longer than the 10 seconds that he spent in that upper kitchen looking for Kenneka. He shouldn't have found her in 10 seconds. In fact, the freezer over to the right-hand side of the video frame is R96. He didn't even look in there. So he wasn't really searching. The offices on the left-hand side, where the pillows and stuff were, all bundled up in that office. He didn't even look in there. He walked right out and straight to the freezer. So body language, 55% of our communications comes from body language, carries more the truth than anything else that they may have said. What you do speaks so loud, what you say I can't understand sometimes. So what you see before you now is the same kitchen, the upper kitchen, okay? And from this point of view, the camera's on, and there's Kenneka. Now we see the little red boxes flashing on back and forth, but this is what they gave us. All isolated, all alone, by herself, she decides to go someplace she's never been to before in her life. Now you have to ask yourself, why would Kenneka, being as inebriated as she was, walk into an upper kitchen area in a hotel she's never been in before? What are your answers? What are your answers? I know what mine are. I wanted to share that with you and get ready to conclude tonight's live. I think I've got what I wanted to share with you for the most part completed tonight, and just to bring to your attention some of the fears and some realities about this case, because there are fears, false evidence appearing real, as we talked about, and some realities of it. And I hope I was able to nail down some realities about the case. We do have an open, ongoing court case in progress as this video is unfolding. There is an active case in a gross negligence lawsuit with Teresa Martin and her attorneys against the Crown Plaza Hotel, Capital Security, Murray Brothers Caddyshack Restaurant, and R&R F&F Realty. I was about to say R&R Realty, but it's F&F. I want to jump back into my original post position here. Uh, and come back up out of screen share and go over some of your comments before we end tonight's live. But thank you all for sticking with me and sticking with this case. There are a lot of people working hard on this. A lot of us are working hard on it. But some of tonight's highlights really cover what we've been exposed to. And the incredible area of this case is the timeline. And so looking at that, I wanted to address it. I hope I did. I believe I did. Because there were a lot of misconceptions out there. Misconceptions about reenactment, misconceptions about Kenneka being stabbed in the neck in the bathroom. So where that story came from. Monifa carrying Kenneka's sneakers in the hallway while she walked in her socks looking for her during the time she was searching the hotel for her. The misconception of Kenneka walking the hallways by herself and what the video surveillance footage proved to us. The other one that stated that she walked into the freezer all by herself. Misconception there. That she walked the hallways for an hour before she ended up in the upper kitchen freezer compartment. Misconception. And the bold misconception that this was an accident. And all of the evidence that we've been focusing on clearly states otherwise. Clearly states that otherwise. Now, if you came to that conclusion that there are some misconceptions out there, good. It's something we have to deal with, obviously, for those content creators that are putting out that kind of information on this case. Unfortunately, but they have their reasons. We know what their reasons are anyway. It's quite obvious because they include that in their videos and lives. What do they keep constantly telling you to do? What are some of the things you hear them say in their lives before they ever get to tell you anything? I keep hearing it over and over and over again, but let me ask you, what do you keep hearing some of the content creators shouting out on their channels before you ever get to hear the content they're getting ready to present? Just give me a hint. Oh man, incredible. But it goes to intent. It goes to intent. Thriller Media says donations. Yeah, there you go. There's one. I hear that. Definitely. That's a fact. Donate, donate, donate. Yeah. Hell of a chick says, yeah, I hang into that too. Get them likes up. Thumb me up, Jack. Hit the like button. Oh man, it rains, it pours. Yeah. You know. And there are some that do it honestly for content and information exposure. Absolutely. But like I say all the time, I said, if you like something, you like it at the end, not at the beginning before you even get get a chance to hear what it is that they're going to say or present. That's like buying a movie ticket and not seeing the movie and having somebody tell you, "Oh, how'd you like the movie?" Well, I haven't seen it yet. Well, did you like it anyway? Oh, it cracks me up when I hear that. Yeah, just a few, just a few. Cash at me. Okay, I hear you, Misha. John Q. Kenneka is smiling down at you, saying, "Thank you, John. What a good job you have done on getting justice. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Justice is coming soon, I hope." Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa. Yeah, and we're going to keep fighting. This is what a fight's all about character. It's about character. What will you truly fight for? What will you truly do about something that has no direct concern of yours or connection to you whatsoever, but it's the right thing to do? What will you do? Hence, character comes into play. That's right, Dee Dee. You fight, you fight, you fight. Just like the big one we all have coming up right now. And that I wanted to thank you for reminding me too, because this is what I wanted to actually close the live with, because we're all in a big fight on this one. I want to go back to screen share just for a minute. This plays a very important part in what we're all getting ready to face and dealing with, even to this day. And I'm sure that over the weekend, everybody has had some thoughts about what's been going on since, well, for quite some time, since December. Hopefully, I captured this. I think I did. Come on, let's go. We've been doing good. Let's go. I think my computer's tired. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, my computer's tired. Anyway, of major concern right now going on not only here in the United States, and we're just going to switch. We're just going to switch up away from the Kenneka Jenkins case for a second. But major concern now that we all face is a changing world that we're living in on a day-to-day basis. And now we're finally come to an area, I guess, in time where now we're all faced having to deal with something that we've never dealt with before. And it's been covered for quite some time, but now it's hit home, ours. What you heard on Friday, coming from Washington, D.C., for those that know what was said regarding this coronavirus outbreak epidemic that we're now faced with, is now realized that the United States is changing on a day-to-day basis. And what was mentioned on Friday by uh, our Washington officials is that now our country is in a national security mode. And the selected words that were used in reference to national security, activating the emergency powers of national preparedness, and this is just my opinion, we are now engaging in what is called as a soft martial law. And I don't say that to put the fear factor in you. No, it's just reality. And I believe we have crossed the border, crossed an area in regards to a lot of our freedoms are at stake now. And so national preparedness, under the act in which it was written, uh, puts constraints on the United States and its population, all of us. And so I believe now we're entering a soft martial law where our behaviors in our everyday lives have to change due to the fact that there is a biological outbreak in our country. And that will affect many, many, many people. And so our characters are going to be challenged. There are some things that we need to realize and recognize as human beings. And I think we're at a point now to where our characters are going to really, really be brought out into play in regards to how we care for one another, how we truly care for one another, and what we do to care for one another is about to begin uh, a course, if you will, pertaining to the events that we all have to endure as to the nature of our true characters. And so, with that said, it's really going to challenge a lot about who we are as Americans. This is a serious time to be living in, that's for sure. And we have to take serious steps and measures to ensure the quality of not only our livelihood and our lifestyle right now, but our futures together. Here, not only in this country, but around the world. And so, for everyone here in the United States and across the globe that has to deal with this pest or pestilence, if you will, my heart goes out to every single one of you and your families, because we're all in this now. And how it's going to be dealt with is what is going to unfold. And they're going to be on a day by day, week to week, month by month updates on how our society, how the globe is going to change us. Hopefully for the better. And hopefully we can be strong enough to endure and get past something of this magnitude affecting us all. And I only bring it up in tonight's live here at the end, uh, just to say that we're all God's children. We're all here for a reason, and we have to make every day count for each other. For each other. And some say it is a scary time and place to be. Yes, we've never dealt with anything like this ever before on such a massive global scale now. It's not just one state or one country. It's all countries now. So I just say this and bring it to our attention this evening uh, to wish everybody safety and God blessings on them and their families as we continue to do the work that we're all here to do. And that work is to care for each other. And how we do it is going to be challenged. How we do it is going to be challenged. You know? And so it would be something to take seriously because other people are going to be taking it seriously, whereas other people are maybe in denial and say that this may be some kind of a control game plan or something like that, or a hoax. Well, let's just lean to one side right now because it seems like that side that we have to lean on is the best side to lean on, and that's the side of looking out after one another as best we can, taking safety precautions because of it, and doing the best we can while we have to endure it until it passes. Because this too will pass. And I believe character is going to play a major role in helping it to pass based upon what we do, not only for ourselves to try to get through it, but what we do for others as well. So please, wherever you may be here in the United States or globally across into other countries and continents, please take care of one another as best you can. That's my prayer. That's going to be my meditation going forward because we all have to get through this. And I believe we are. If we do it right, we do it right. I believe there are tests involved in everything that we do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to-year basis. Yes. And it's not so much what we do, but how we do it that's going to make the difference. How are we going to get through this? Well, we're only going to choose the right way to do it. Because by choosing the right way to do it, we select to choose life. All of us. Do it the wrong way, because we're in a very critical area where we could mess this up too. A lot of, let's just say, more pain than we've ever imagined could come out of this as well. So let's be mindful of each other. Let's be mindful of what we have to do to survive and to continue to survive through hard times, such as the times that we're about to get into and face. This is a very serious matter, and my recommendations, that I say for my family, is as well as I'll say here in tonight's live, That character is going to determine a lot of a lot about how we come out of this. We are going to be tested on it. God's watching, and he's with us. And I believe all he wants us to do is to thrive on that character based upon the laws that he's established and based upon the laws of nature in which everything on the planet is established. If we are in harmony with these laws, we will make it. If we are in discord and disharmony, we won't stand a chance. We will not stand a chance. And thank you. I thank every single one of you for joining me here tonight and discussing the Kenneka Jenkins case and its revelations, along with obviously some new revelations that we all have to deal with, you know, aside from this case, as as a global family here. And so much love to every single one of you and to your families. And I'll be back with you as much as I can. My schedule has changed to a point where it's been able to allow me some additional time in reference to the things that I do privately and professionally. And I hope to come back real soon, to give you some case updates as we roll forward with the Kenneka Jenkins case, as well as follow this trend, this coronavirus trend, because that's going to take precedent over a lot of things that we do on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So with that said, I just wanted to definitely touch on that because it is a major concern to a lot of people right now that may not have the wherewithal or the information pertaining to what type of outcomes could possibly come out of this. But I'm hoping the best outcome can come out of it. Optimistic, being optimistic is a whole lot better than being pessimistic. You know, that's the way I look at it. If we're here doing the right thing at the right time with the right people to produce the right results for us all to be the beneficiaries of, then hey, what are you waiting for? Let's get to it. Because we'll only leave doing that right to our future families going forward. That's the way it is. That's the way it's been. That's the way it should be. That's my belief anyway. That's my belief. So I share with you that outside of you know working with other content creators concerning the Kenneka Jenkins case. I share with you that because with that and all other things combined, yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing anyway. That's what we're supposed to be doing anyway. Looking after the planet so we can be here, and then taking care of one another so we can all be here. And not anything in opposition other than that. Because anything in opposition of that, well, those have results too, or what is called as consequences. Or if there's any consequence or consequences that we have to face, I'd rather have the positive consequences than the negative ones. We've been living with the negative ones too long. And the negative ones are so out of hand. Maybe this is a challenge for those negative ones too. Only God knows that, though. Only God knows. But I hope the best for everyone. Every single one that's joined us here tonight, thank you so much. Your support is very important to my channel. We'll continue to come back and bring you the best of not only the content that we present, but the character in which it is presented. You can count on me, and you can count on me being on time too. Just like we're always on time. But anyway, with that said, I know I haven't really gotten into a lot of comments tonight. I wanted to cover as much as I could in the time span that I had to cover with you. But yeah, let's be mindful of each other. Let's keep the fear factor in check. We know that the fear representing the false evidence appearing real, and what to watch out for, not only on YouTube and Facebook and all of other social media, but also in our personal lives as well. And know that there are realities that we have to deal with. We have to face them. And with God's blessing, we can do it. With the strength that He gives us every day, and the blessings of being here every day. Well, what else is there to do? What else is there to do on planet Earth other than do the right thing? Not only to it, not only with it, but for it. But for it. Oh, God bless you all. God bless you all. I enjoy my times whenever I go live, because you know me, I don't go live every day, every week. Uh, if you hear from me, it's like once every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so. But I know when to come back to you. Only when I have something of substance that's going to be good for everyone moving forward, and to come in and check on you too. To see how everybody's doing, and making sure that we all hang together and stick together as a family, because that's what we are anyway. No matter what color you are, creed, background, upbringing, origin, whatever. I mean, we're all family here. We just have to learn how to be family sometimes. More than none, but we all have to learn how to be more like family than like strangers. And with that said, as I've always said, in all of my lives and in all of my videos, be well and stay blessed with Godspeed. Until next time, take care and God bless.